Kia ora. Kia ora e te whānau, no mai haere mai ki te o Tautahi Christchurch. Welcome to beautiful Hagley Park, Bob Dean's Fields. We are here for the 2025 New Zealand Ultimate Championships Division 2. Our final match for the tournament, an open division final between Exiles and Euphoria. So Euphoria to start the game on defense.
Wow, the speed they're coming down with. Also, my name is Kelsey Bielik, and you just heard from the incomparable Blair Monroe. Lucky to be in the booth with him. But yes, Exiles in red, currently with the disc.
Starting with a zone defense from Euphoria. Tranter with the disc now, facing down. Ooh. But not faced down enough. A little bit of a stumble. Some definite contact there.
Johnston looking like he was trying to make a play there. Yeah, I mean, definitely, as Blair said, let's take another look. Body contact.
Contested foul.
You know, you got to respect the speed at which they came to that conclusion. You know, and a contested call is absolutely fair.
Yeah, so as we've mentioned a couple of times throughout the course of the tournament, self-officiated sport, particularly when players are starting to build up a head of steam, starting to build up a momentum, they want to resolve those calls relatively quickly to get back to playing. It's not always an unspirited thing to disagree. So Tranter going to reset to Hodgman. Pushing towards the far sideline from McDonald, threading through to find Johnston this time. Quick offload to Tranter.
Great movements from Exiles right now. You know, the wind is coming from the close side of the screen to the far side. It's blowing towards the bleachers across there. Right now, seemingly not an issue in the slightest for Exiles, as they're easily just moving the disc where it needs to go on the field. I think a really smart idea right off the bat to come out with a zone, though, from Euphoria.
Doing a good job of arresting the momentum of Exiles. We've seen some great zone offense from them over the course of the tournament. Lemon in the midfield now.
Of course, the more you move the disc, despite your ability, the more throws you put up, the more likely you are to make a mistake, right? No one is perfect, although seemingly that might be the case, and you're more likely to see those cracks, the more opportunity there is for them to come through.
Fraser turning around to get the read. Nice quick offload to the far sideline. Finds Lemon as they continue to the push.
And Lemon just sharing recently that he wasn't here yesterday. We didn't get to see him play, and he's made such a huge impact for his team today. Yesterday, apparently, multi-sport athlete, of course, was playing rugby. So he said bringing fresh
I've never heard of that.
Legs.
Never heard of rugby.
Yeah, I heard it's when you inflate an ultimate Frisbee and throw it around.
Oh, great attempt there on the bid by Morris, but Lemon's going to pull that one down. Goes to McAfee, has to reset to Fraser, working around, finds Hodgman as the zone starts to close. Not able to get the continuation to Tranter, has to go back, far sideline, finds Fraser, comes out a little bit low, goes Johnson by way of McAfee, jumped in by Johnson for the first point of the game.
And that give-go movement, Blair Monroe, so hard to stop on defense.
Absolutely, but I mean, I think there's something that was really, really good to note about that is just how long it took Exiles to build up that head of steam. Yes, once they got going, they were very, very difficult to stop.
I would just like to share, seeing both these players from both these teams. We've seen Exiles a few times on the live stream. We haven't yet seen Euphoria on the live stream. We're out here watching the athleticism, the teamwork, the intelligence of both players, of both teams. But I also just want to share with the live stream, for those of you who don't know many of these individual players, they're such lovely people across both teams. I'm sorry that we're here to watch them play sport, not to talk about their personalities, but that's just an aside, kind of to get the stoke going. Lovely players on both teams. I'm so excited to be watching. Yeah, just personally knowing so many of these people, lovely players out on the field today. Anyway, back to the sports component though. With the disc, we have Nick Hodgman, who is with the pull, disc up. It's on the high side of the field, staying inbounds, fielded to the middle.
Fiola to Cook early, gets past Lemon, finds Diekma.
And we have Exiles responding with a zone of their own. Again, given the gusty conditions, I think it's a great idea.
Cook shooting crossfield, it fades over early. Fishman bobbles it up into his own hands, goes back to find Fiola. The zone closing in, Lemon leading that arrowhead, supported by Hargraves and Vreich. Cook with a bit fake, trying to get things moving. Fishman again, can't get the offload, goes far side for Fiola. Snaps one around to Barnes, back to Fishman. On the trot, but slowed down. Hargraves closing that off. A big fake from Fishman. Can't get away. Has to go around, dropping yardage. Back around the halfway mark by Fiola there.
And Fishman doing such hard work for his team. I think that disc dropped. It almost, Fiola looking like he was ready to catch it in the breadbasket, but just dropped so quickly again. In these gusty conditions, that's exactly what the zone was forcing. The likelihood of a turnover happening. Sean Lemon off to the races, getting the undercuts. Looking for options. Again, difficult that the disc is on the low side right now. Fighting to get open. And
Ray with the disc continues, pushing for Lemon. Huge bid. Looks like there's going to be a strip called there. And it's accepted. That's going to be a second score and a break for the Exiles.
You know what? If that's how points are going to be scored in this finals, I'm here for it. Like, you know, the offense gets a hand to the disc. And if it's a 50-50, it goes to the offense. Great recognition, great spirit on defense there, but also such an incredible defensive play. He's going for it.
Just from the look of that replay alone, if Fiola's hand had been a couple of millimeters to the left, maybe made a contact with the disc a fraction of a second earlier, that would have been, I mean, that would have been a layout on par with Wong's from the previous, from the women's final. That was a huge play there. As it stands, Exiles now up by 2. 6 minutes into the game for the final match.
You know, with plays like that, defensive plays like that, I'm excited to see what the game has in store, what Euphoria has in store for us. Yeah, contesting every throw like that, not afraid to throw their bodies out on the line. I expect to see potentially a little bit more zone being played from both teams, but yeah, really good, great display of athleticism.
Now, in speaking with some of the Euphoria players over the course of the tournament and just before the final itself, they definitely are giving the impression that they're kind of second half teams. So they've had a few matches on their race to the finals where they've been a few points down, but they've managed to claw it back. Just maybe taking a little while for leadership to get everyone's heads right in the same place. We have Kemp with the disc working with Cook. Decides instead to find Barnes, far sideline. Strong cutting in through the center field. Tranter doing a great job of sealing in. Barnes has to go back, losing yards, finds Fishman. Can't get around Lemon. Through to Kemp despite a great attempt there from Tranter. Kemp pinned down, goes to Fishman. Lemon closes. Johnston parking up in the deep space, keeping an eye over his shoulder. Nothing big going to happen yet. Puller looking for the disc on the near sideline, having to close in, joining the fray. Cook, very pinned down. Lemon nice and tight.
Nice.
Goes for a late high stall for Diekma.
And I was going to say, right now, Exiles doing a fantastic job of stopping that movement, that high cross movement, and here pushing through the cup. Such a great, much needed opportunity there. Yeah, they're pushing past Euphoria, maintaining composure when they're locked down.
Diekma just able to keep that one off the turf. Goes back to Fishman. Can't find an avenue through. Has to go to Cook. Tranter again, and Lemon pushing down that far sideline, keeping them on the low side. So conditions. There's a wind blowing crossfield from the bottom of your screen to the top hand side.
Oh, yes!
Big upwind hammer looking for Barnes. Finds him. Comes in low, finds Puller in the deep space. Defense is scrambling. Finishes to Barnes.
Blair, what incredible movements. What incredible zone offense. That's exactly what we want to be seeing. And also just looking at the composure of so many of these players, it's not surprising to reflect that a lot of them have represented Aotearoa New Zealand on the world stage recently, incredibly recently, at the World Masters Ultimate Championships. So many players from the Tuatara, that is the men's Masters team, are also on the field right now. They have experience on that world stage, but also, you know, the patience in a zone. They're not afraid to keep making that safe, easy, open option until, boom, you're cracking through the cup, you're shifting the field open, and defense needs to struggle, needs to scramble to adjust to what's just happened. But great zone offense point for Euphoria.
Yeah, just a really, really good runaway towards the end of that possession there. Now, whole team taking the point, knowing they're coming down on defense. We've seen a zone from them already, a little bit of an arrowhead headed by Elliot Wilson as this is the very tip of that arrowhead of trying to apply pressure. We've also seen a couple of their other defensive stalwarts taking up some really front-forward positions in that zone. Splitting the sidelines to keep the lines of communication open. Exiles already ready with their offensive line. Some Great hands there. We've got Hall, Lewis, Fraser, Lemon, Johnston, McAfee on the line, ready to put things away for Exiles, hoping to walk away from this one with a gold medal.
So Exiles coming out on offense right now, but I think that experience playing zone defense is something that should stick with them. Just how well Euphoria played through that, played around that, how easily they kept their poise.
A great pull by Hammer Haney. Billy Ray Skyrus himself all the way to the back of the end zone. McAfee trying to recover. They're in Callahan country. The zone. It's Burris. Ridgway up front trying to stop Johnstone breaking free. Can't find Lemon on the near sideline. Has to go back to McAfee. Fraser. Nothing developing in the midfield. It's all handler all day. McAfee again continues to Johnstone just off the grass. Lemon on the near sideline. Johnstone looking a little bit deeper. Ridgway, Burris, shutting down that open channel, supported by Cooper on the near sideline. There's the turn that they're looking for, an uncharacteristic turf by Lemon. Burris to pick up and initiate.
No, Euphoria exactly where they need to be. Haney sneaking that in.
Snapping through to Anthony Haney. A somewhat gratuitous layout, a very unnecessary hat spike, but a great score to put them on the board. Again, coming back to a 2-2 game, great defensive work there.
So again, that bobble, I think actually you can pull that back, no pun intended, to the initial pull that came up, and it really shows the value of the pull, especially the roll. So what happened, Exiles trying to stop that roll, trying to stop it from going too far out, but because they touched the disc when it was rolling, have to take it from where it comes to a stop. So that was well in the end zone, as Blair was just saying, Callahan country. It's a dangerous place to have the disc, and with the pressure of the zone so deep in the end zone, not only does every throw have to be, the obvious throw and catch, but if it's intercepted, that's an automatic point for the other team, obviously. So there was a lot of pressure that Exiles were dealing with, but because, the pressure of the zone so deep in their end zone, it caused a turnover right away. I think you can draw that point back to the initial pull and the value of not only having a really great throw downfield, but also getting down there so quickly on defense to stop those first few passes.
So another monster pull from Haney, nice and high. Plenty of opportunity for that zone to get down and establish their defensive structure. Fraser to Ray. Wilson again at the tip of that arrowhead.
Ray looking for options. And again, zone really making a lot of sense on defense. Exiles have been doing a great job. I know Tom Fraser with the disc currently right now. I'm excited, no doubt, to see it. Excited for those swilly options, looking for Johnstone, but the angle on that forehand blade finds the ground before it finds hands.
That's exactly what the defense were kind of hoping for. Enough pressure on someone like Fraser, who does have a deep bag of throws, but forcing him to take a lower percentage option. Way had that one in hands. Looks like there's going to be no call on that one. Hodgman putting it long.
A player like Lemon poached like that, if you put it into space, there's a chance he might get there, and the odds are low, but the wind just pushed it. That's a tricky disc to read.
That kind of response from Exiles shows that the defensive pressure from Euphoria is doing what it's supposed to do. Forgive my hopefully not too blatant bias, but it's just fantastic to see that they're looking to fire off those quick breaks. They don't want to have to work against a zone like the one Euphoria are putting down. Fraser comes down with that one. Huge take.
I love the conversation, the casual conversation that Fraser's taking from the ground. It looks like there was a call. I think, that situation, revisiting what happened, he came down with it. And both very experienced players with the rules, but just love that he's chilling on the ground, taking a break while having that discussion. One more time as the disc goes up, both players taking to the sky. And I think, it might be the type of situation similar to the first, I think it was that second point where there was that huge layout bid, but Exiles came down with the point, and that's just because if both hands are on the disc, if both offense and defense catch it at the same time, the disc goes to the offense. So here, just because Fraser may have had momentum ripping it down, did he touch it first, or was it at the same time? What do you think at home? So they've taken a look actually at the live stream. They're feeding in on the field. They're saying it's a tie. Again, what do you think at home? Great display of spirit. Fraser giving the disc as if it were a catch again. Tie goes to the offense.
So Way goes to find Allen through a good play by Lemon and McAfee trying to shut it down. Finds Haney. Can't hit the inside shot on that backhand. It's not going to happen. Way calling for it. No one's underneath
what
it.
A touch! And that's all that was needed to make that
Huge
play.
touch.
Hodgman taking to the skies and shooting down the risk. There are no threats in his house.
High release flick looking for Johnston. Unmarked. Pressure slowly closing. There's not enough support for him. He goes up and over. It's going to be another touch to the turf.
Exiles taking a lot of creativity in their throws right now. You know, quite a few blades, I think, to place them right on the receivers. But yeah, resulting in turnovers for the moment. They'll need to clean that up.
Allen to Wilson. Far sideline goes back to Allen. He's hard to come up over the top of. Putting it high with a lot of float. Fraser's underneath. But it's gonna be Euphoria with the score for that one.
And Euphoria definitely displaying the emotion true to their name. They're celebrating every point, all the players rushing onto the field, and it's just something that I really appreciate. I appreciate the energy, but also when you celebrate points like that your team is scoring, as a team, you're celebrating it together. It's behaviorally a really great thing to do. You're lifting up the momentum. You're lifting up the spirits. You're getting everyone stoked, and you're sharing that all around, which can result in great gameplay on the field, great teamwork. It's just an exciting note. It's exciting to see.
So a great break there for Euphoria to help them take the lead. The zone defense that they are working with at the moment doing a great job of just arresting the momentum of Exiles. I mean, we've seen Exiles a couple of times. Lemon wasn't with us yesterday. Lemon wasn't with them yesterday, but we've seen Exiles a couple of times in our stream working hard against the Brisbaneites. Working hard against Piano yesterday. When they can build up a little bit of momentum, it's almost like a runaway train. It's really, really hard to stop. So great work by the defense to apply a lot of pressure on the initiation. Early touch and roll. A little bit of a nutmeg on Johnston. It's going to go all the way out the back of the end zone.
So similar to what we saw before, where I was talking about the pull can really make the points. Right now, Exiles are in a similar position. It's the type of situation where if we see a hawk just come out, it may not be the worst idea just to try to get it out of that really dangerous place. Everyone on Euphoria, all those defenders on the field right now are hungry to score at Callahan.
Looks like they'll actually bring it up to the front of the end zone, so making the argument maybe there was no touch as that went through. So a slight breath of relief for the Exiles. Wobbly early, too much wind. Thank goodness that Sutherland was there for Exiles.
Celebrations from the sidelines. How many hands were on that disc?
A little bit less ultimate, a little more hot potato. Working through. Tranter with a rip. Johnston, Haney, Johnston.
He was fighting for position there, and it paid off. Reading that it was coming under a touch on the disc, but it still makes its way into the safe hands of the handlers. Lemon right now looking for options, swinging to the high side. Back to Lemon. McDonald with the disc, opting for an over the top.
Sutherland now with Johnston.
Johnston finding Lemon in the middle of the field.
Hargraves on a wide cut.
Tranter looking for options. And the zone's still set. Still set. A few open players in the end zone, but wow, that over the top.
Stolen by Burris. Immediately back to Ridgeway. A little bit of 1-2. Defense scrambling. Puts up the inside out. Huck looking for Morris as it fades towards the far sideline. Finds him. Where's the continuation? Not there, marked out. One hand, two hands. Three hands, four hands. That's going to be another Euphoria break there. Some really great pulls starting off these possessions, able to apply enough pressure.
At a great point, again, players streaking onto the field, that lifts the momentum, it lifts the energy. Such great defense, I think, predicting that high throw. We're going to see that coming down. I love the read on the disc as well. He was in such good position. You know, you see defenders, you see offenders chasing a disc down, and sometimes they can jump really high in the air and they can jump higher than everyone else. But I think non-flashy plays like this, just reading it so well and putting your body in position where you are going to be the one coming down with it is, you know, is often underrated.
So Euphoria up by 2, 20 minutes into our 90-minute time cap. Race to 15 for the final match in the Opens division of the 2025 New Zealand Ultimate Championships Division 2 in Christchurch.
And you know, it's early days. Definitely Exiles will need to make some changes, but if they let it go too far without implementing something, without putting more points on the board, you know, it could sneak away from them, and that's the risk. They need to make that change right now if they want to stay in this, you know, bring the momentum back. McAfee with the disc, looking to make it happen.
Working with Ray and Hodgman in the upfield again. Wilson starting off that zone. A bite from Way opens things up. The defense manages to reset, slowing down the momentum.
Love the hammer fake. Ray
Hall,
right now.
Ray, Hodgman. Pushing towards the near sideline for McAfee.
Looking for options, and great swinging movement, a lot of patience from the Exiles handlers right now. Really just taking the open opportunity. But right now, Euphoria just locking down a lot of those continuation options. Downfield zone, just closing everything down. We're seeing no throws coming out, and that's because all of the opportunities are really being taken away. Hammer fake leads to a hammer, leads to a point. Johnson in the end zone.
Great positioning there by Johnson. Good shot selection by Ray to bring it back to within one. The first fake even threw his hat off.
Yeah, out of the way. I think he needed the hat off. Maybe it was an excuse for the prime execution that he needed. Ray just running that point there. And I love the depth of Exiles. You know, there's so much experience. McAfee dishing it back to Ray. Johnstone, we've seen a lot of good things coming out of his hands. He's scoring the point here, but really Ray taking charge of the field for that point.
A real 9,000 IQ throw. I think he took the hat off just to get some wind cooling on that supercomputer going on up in the noggin.
Maybe that was it. He's giving a thumbs up on the sideline. No doubt he is stoked about what he just orchestrated on the field.
So Exiles to come out on defense now. Hodgman with the disc. We've got Tranter, Gurdon, McAfee, Fraser, Lemon, Johnson again. Those same familiar faces on the Exiles line that we've seen so many times today already.
And Exiles, a club in Christchurch that has so much legacy, so much experience and tenure playing together as a team. These players have grown up playing Ultimate together. And it's awesome they add so much depth to the Christchurch scene. So they're showing that as well on the field. Hopefully in this zone that they're playing right now, marking space. Again, a smart decision with these gusty wind. Euphoria showing that it's not a problem for them with this quick movement, finding the open players on the field.
Barnes and Cook on the far sideline. Lemon closing the trap. Manages to shut down the recentering pass into the wind. It's Barnes losing yards. Lemon on defense. Cook provides an opportunity. Can't get the inside break. Stall count's getting high. Cook comes back from behind the handler space to eat up a couple meters. Marked by Fraser now. Doesn't have many options. Diekma closing in, trying to get an option. Goes back to Barnes. Fiola available as a wide reset, but Gurdon's in the way. There's enough to discourage it. We see the hammer wind up. He's going to do it again. No, laser shot, the sideline. Manages to find Fishman with a big shot, looking for Truong. Some of the fastest feet in Euphoria. He's down with it, and it looks like it's going to be good, folks. That is going to go 5 over Exiles 3. Euphoria up by a nice hold.
And Johnston in position there. He was rushing to close that gap. backing his legs. And Johnston's a really athletic player. We've seen him, making highlights for this team, even over the course of this game. But here, recognizing that, trusting that he can get under it. But that's a challenge when it's so well placed. Props to him for keeping that as a clean play. Yeah, great catch under pressure. Sometimes even being in the vicinity of your offense can lead to, I like to say, a mental D. You're just getting in the brain of the offender, making things seem more difficult than they are. Not the case with such an experienced receiver. Not the case, putting one more point on the board for Euphoria.
And the wind is definitely starting to pick up. So, as we've mentioned a couple of times throughout the course of this tournament, it can feel like the defensive side has a couple of extra players. There's that much more pressure on the disc. Great pull towards the far side, trying to put it in the corner, but it's fielded. Nice and early, recentered to Tranta, goes to Hodgman. Wilson once again, start of the arrowhead, supported by Ridgway. Hosokawa comes to Tranta, near sideline. Johnston, no hat this time, puts the big shot up.
Wow.
It's inside, fading far. Intercepted by Haney.
Love the look on that with the wind, the inside-out forehand huck, placing it where it needs to be. Unfortunately, in his situation, for Haney to eat right up. Such great recognition on defense. We have Euphoria off to the races. The disc goes up.
Kieran Allen out of nowhere to keep that one alive. Goes around, finds Morris, marked by Tranta. Allen still available as a reset, decides instead for the break. Big bid by Hodgman's not going to be enough. Wilson's got it now. Working through, finds Hosokawa, goes to Morris with a big rip, looking for Haney. The bookends, baby! Billy Ray Skyrus himself with a huge takedown after a massive block. Going up by 3, Euphoria to take the 6th point of the game, 2 points away from half in this race to 15.
Yeah, hands up, indicating bookmarks. He's stoked about that. Taking to the skies. Love the celebrations. Again, Euphoria true to their name, really bringing the energy on the field. But we'll see that one more time as the disc goes up, snaked down from the sky, and you put your teammate in a power position like that. Rude not to launch that huck, especially to 2 unmarked receivers.
It looks like once again Moose has got the juice. He puts the big shot up for Haney and the score.
Again, the score is sneaking away from Exiles. If they're going to make a change, they need to do something about it quickly. While you can see a team, as Blair was saying, in the second half, really get things together and come back. It's the first half, those few points that you were trying to figure out in the beginning that can make all the difference at the end of a game. So while you're working to tighten the score line, sometimes you don't have enough time, have enough points, the luxury of doing that. So this beginning time right now is still really critical for them to make that change that they need to make.
Hodgman, Ray, Lemon working the near sideline. We're seeing that same Euphoria zone. I want to clarify, it's not as though Exiles are doing anything wrong. They are playing well. They are getting completions. Just there's a huge amount of pressure.
Oh, Fraser.
Speak of the devil. And he shall appear, Tom Fraser, with an uncharacteristic drop, giving Ridgway and Burris an opportunity to work along the far sideline, hoping to close things out.
Whoa.
Touch by Fraser. Looks like there's going to be contact on that one.
No contest. I love that. He's hungry to make back what he just turned over and going a little too hard on that defensive play. Great spirit on the uncontested call, though.
So the stall count will return to 1. Burris on an upline, not there, goes for Moose instead. Burris trying to slash 7 cut across the front of the disc, doesn't go. Morris finds Allen, marked by Sutherland, nothing developing in the downspace. Big hammer over the top, looking for Cooper, and finds him despite a great chase down by Lemon. Euphoria 1 point away from half.
And that's a really well executed hammer, A player can be poached on that side of the field. They can be completely unmarked, but it's still dangerous to put the disc there because, first of all, going upwind, it's more likely to float. Secondly, it's hard to execute a disc, a disc into the wind, a throw going that way, that's still going to make it where it needs to be. It's a hard throw to put up. And especially when a defensive player like Sean Lemon is in the vicinity, I just want to highlight the experience, the prowess that goes into executing that throw. And then on the receiver's end, taking up the space to take it. We have a timeout right now on the field, looking to close out half.
And so I mean that's really it. Euphoria's zone defense is doing a huge job applying enough pressure to just find the cracks in the Exiles offense at the moment. Exiles still doing so much right. It's the 8th, 9th pass in a possession. That's where those little errors are slipping in. It just probably requires a tiny bit more focus to hold out, to make that 11th, 12th pass, to find the gaps in the zone that they are capable of exploiting, and they are so capable of exploiting. We've got some phenomenal athletes on this Exiles side. McAfee, Gurdon, Lemon, Hodgman, Ray, Sutherland doing some fantastic work just moving the disc, being able to move the disc, being able to apply pressure on defense, being able to work in through the downfield and the upfield, moving all the way around.
You know, Blair, what I think that Exiles is struggling with right now, again, we've seen them on the live stream. We haven't yet seen Euphoria on the live stream, but Exiles have been playing against some really great teams. You know, the matchup and then the rematchup against the Brisbaneites. And I think they were really well matched as both teams. But right now, what Euphoria is doing that Exiles are not is that Euphoria has stepped up the tempo, bringing, I think, a lot more spirited, aggressive energy to the fields. They're moving the disc so well, but they're powering through everything. They're stepping up the level of energy, and Exiles are matching that, but not quite to the same level. I mean, a shorter roster could also reflect that.
Huge pull from the high side. Resent it to Fraser, and I think you're exactly right, Kelsey. Important to recognize the Exiles have a much shorter roster. They're only looking at around 15, 16 players. Johnson on the far side puts a big shot up, looking for Lemon. It fades early, but not early enough.
That's great. Oh, that's so good.
That's the hold that they needed there to keep them in the game. 3 points down, but an opportunity here. Their ability to demonstrate that they can overcome that zone. They can break through. They can open up those opportunities, put those long shots up, and have trust in their really powerful receivers to be able to close those out.
And I love that Johnston definitely choosing his receiver in that situation. A challenging situation when a defender like Haney is in the vicinity. You know, we were saying about that same thing with Lemon before, with Euphoria's point, which they scored up there. When Lemon's in the vicinity, it's a threat. Haney's in the vicinity, it's a threat. But still trusting the receivers and executing the throw just the way it needs to be done. We'll see that one more time. Trancher putting it up. Love that inside shot. Johnston doesn't need to take out off his feet to reel that in. Launching it downfield and really, again, choosing his receiver. Lemon scoring the point. As Blair just said, a much needed point for Exiles.
A beautiful find there. And so they're going to come down on defense now. Be interesting to see whether or not they're going to be making any adjustments.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. I mean, Euphoria's been doing a fantastic job against their zone. At the same time, you know, with this gusty wind, you have that third defender on the field. You might as well utilize it.
Hodgman putting a big pull up, touching down at around about the midfield, so there's not a huge amount of positional advantage they've gained, fielded by Fiola. Nice and early, goes back around, one-hand take by the Italian stallion from Euphoria, doing a huge amount of dominator work through the middle of that Exiles zone. Laser show back across field to Cook, marked by Sturman. McAfee closing that far side window. Takes to an elbow, to the ground, keeping it in hand. Back to Cook. Nothing developing. Finds Kemp on a really shallow undercut. Reset and swing. Fiola, Diekman now.
And you see, I was going to say the Exile zone doing what it needs to do. While we're seeing a lot of throws coming off, they're really shutting down the continuations. However, that one through the middle, a huge and very important gainer for Euphoria. That's what they're trying to do. By swinging the disc, opens up the field there. You know, the defense takes a bite quite too soon, and they're just doing such a good job of finding the open players. Bada bing, bada boom, baby.
Day bing, day boem. It's Puller in the end zone. A static reception from Fishman for the score. A beautiful work there as Euphoria take half, up by 4. 33 minutes in the game is all it has taken this side from Auckland to put their 8 points on the board. We will also be taking a very short halftime break. These teams are going to come back together, figure out what's working. We're going to see a very different second half. That's my anticipation. That's my prediction. Really, really easy when you're up by 4 to make a judgment call. Hey, we don't need to do anything. We don't need to do anything different. We just need to keep the pressure up. But it's important to take time to recognize what that actually means for the individuals and for the team. Exiles, on the other hand, they probably have the weight of where they've let things slip. heavy on them. They know exactly what kind of adjustments they want to make, and so the focus is very, very different for the team who's down by 4 in this halftime. But we'll be back very, very soon for the exciting conclusion of the final match in the Opens Division for the 2025 New Zealand Ultimate Championships Division 2 in ULTI.TV, Christchurch. My name is Blair Monroe.
I'm Kelsey Bielik.
We're here with ULTI.TV, and we'll see you again very soon. All right, team, watching some of those replays from a phenomenal first half of our final match. We have Euphoria to come out on offense, starting the game on defense. And so, having taken half, up by 4, an opportunity for them here to get another clean hole. They do not have to fight for the disc, and fight for the disc they have been doing some great work in their zone. Hodgman with the disc to initiate for Exiles, starting us off with the pull. The 2025 Ultimate Championships Division 2 in very, very windy Ōtautahi, Christchurch. My name again is Blair Monroe.
I'm Kelsey Bielik.
And what a fantastic opportunity we have here to bring you coverage of the best Ultimate in the country. Division 2 this weekend. Division 1 happening in Wellington, the nation's capital, next weekend. But right now, it's Exiles and Euphoria. A high pull with a lot of float being carried towards the low side.
And Hodgman has had consistently good pulls over the course of this entire weekend. I think that's an example of the importance of knowing the edges of the disc, especially in the wind. The wind direction has changed, and I think he got a little bit too maybe greedy, trying to set that disc down on the low side of the field. Instead, it soars out of bounds.
Kelsey, I'm just glad to know he's human. Cook puts up a big shot. Fishman's there, Truong's there, Fishman's there. A nice, clean hold. Maybe Exiles getting a little bit rattled.
In today's economy, that's an efficient, very cost-efficient way of scoring a point, especially straight out of the first half.
Tres leches en esta economía?
Un leche. Solo necesitamos un leche.
Just
Aquí.
one team, just a couple, just one shot needed. Firing deep. Cook to Fishman for the Euphoria hold.
Yeah, an excellent point. And Fishman showing his experience. You know, he's represented Aotearoa New Zealand on the Opens division previously. You know, coaching teams as well over the past few years, previous years. Lovely human being all around, but bringing all that out and seeing that in play as he secures that disc, reads it into his hands with a safe catch.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a more respected ultimate coach than Zev Fishman, certainly in New Zealand. Great deep pull, picked up by Fraser, recenters to Hodgman, goes to Tranter, supported by Johnston, working the high side now, the arrowhead closing in. Wilson, Hosokawa, Ridgeway, has to go high up and overhead.
Wow, great take under pressure, finding that open player.
Hodgman is back. The bionic man.
Human player. Johnston with time to see the disc into his hands, and great to have it on the high side of the field, launching it downfield, looking for Lemon. Will it stay in bounds?
Ooh, just at the outside of Lemon's ability to get that, and he went high. Ouchie. I am surprised that one did not connect with Lemon underneath it.
I like the vision on it. You know what? I love the vision and what Johnston was thinking when he put that up. But yeah, a little too much sauce in that dish. Aggressive
undercut from Markwick. Straight to the hands of Tranter instead. It's an interception. Goes back center field, snapping back through Hodgman. Tranter available as a reset. Used. Johnston comes back for support. Goes through. Finds Lemon. Marked by Haney.
And now Exiles, you can see the tempo. They're moving things well. And I spoke too soon, but they were moving things quite well, matching that speed that Exiles are bringing to that Euphoria is bringing to the field. But yeah, need a bit more tightness on those executions, especially on those soft-dishy throws. Haney looking for a reset option. Lemon shutting it down, but finding one downfield instead.
Ridgeway can't connect with Hosokawa on the next one. It's going to be a turnover. The arrowhead resetting. The Euphoria zone back into position. And Wilson moving around, trying to shut down the recentering pass. Can't stop it from getting to Tranter.
Johnston with the disc, looking to continue it up to the high side of the field, finding Fraser.
Gurdon back to Johnston. Up and over. Allen underneath it. So is Lemon. Huge amount of... A little bit of contact there, but there's going to be no call. Looks like Lemon's going to respect Allen's box and positioning, but another touch by Hodgman.
Huck, yeah. I mean, you have to watch out when there's players in the way if you're going to be releasing it that low. The disc moves up to the high side of the field. Exiles doing a great job of using the width of the field, especially in this wind.
Goes to Tranter. Hodgman pushing up line, sealed off by Ridgeway, but it opens a space in the middle for Lemon. Back to Tranter. Nice. Hodgman again. Gurdon trying to pressure the deep space. Tranter joins him. Lewis parked up on the far sideline. Slowly milling, sitting in the deep, presenting a threat. Johnston can't connect. It comes in a little bit papaku, little bit low. There's the turnover. Euphoria with an opportunity to break for double digits.
And I think they were looking for that huck right away, but a great mark. Lemon throws on a great mark to stop that from coming up.
Morris scuba to Wilson, to Pantanople, re-centers.
Nice.
One-handed take by Allen. Puts a big shot up, looking for Hosokawa. Haney in pursuit with the support. Fraser underneath with the better position. Two players, same team. No one comes down with it.
Yeah, I think a bit of better communication on offense, and that would have been a point.
Well, lessons are there to be learned. Lemon with the one-handed take. Inside shot finds Hodgman. Amazing. Gurdon built up a head of steam. High release flick. Morris with the touch. Hodgman hands on head, a little bit frustrated. Just managing to find Wilson inbounds. Goes forward, finds Allen. Haney there. Cold drop, uncharacteristic. It's a turn back the other way. Exiles wanting to close the gap.
Fraser seeing Lemon going deep and rushing to pick it up to potentially put that option up, but that's why you put a cup in the way. Three people is hard to throw over. Tranter with the disc.
Hosokawa can't stop it. Gurdon back to Tranter.
Nice swinging movement. Exiles back to their bread and butter. Just doing the basics, finding those open players. And now they're really, really starting to come together a little bit more, picking up the tempo of things, nicely putting the disc where it needs to go on the field, and breaking open the zone a little bit more.
This is the Exiles ultimate that we've seen from them so far. It's Ultimate, we've wanted to see from them. They're making those connections. A little bit of bobble in the wind. We're going to see Wilson pick up, call a timeout.
Both teams are showing that. You know, Haney's cold drop there, and we have Johnson's cold drop here. Both teams are showing kind of similar cracks in the veneer. They're making similar mistakes, you know, and while you could say the other teams are forcing that, they're pressuring that, that's something that you can still fix yourself, you know. You bring that back to your team. We can make these catches. These mistakes we're making are quite silly, but both teams are making them. Which is, you know, kind of nice in a final to see that the issues are plaguing both teams equally. But who can fix it first? Right now, Euphoria has a few points ahead on Exiles, so, you know, if it takes them a bit longer, they have that cushion. Exiles really needing to capitalize and polish out those cracks as soon as they can.
Now, it's interesting that you mentioned that Euphoria has that little bit of a cushion, that little bit of a buffer. Last year, the 2024 Division 2 Ultimate Championships, Euphoria were in a similar position over the Northern All-Stars. They managed an upset and came away with a silver medal, so this is a big moment for them, back in a similar spot, recognizing the weight of what each of these little mistakes, these little errors could mean for them. So it's going to be up to them as to whether or not they can pull that focus in, really give themselves the best possible opportunity to close out this game the way they want to and go home with the gold.
Yeah, a bit of a different game in the finals here. The Northern All-Stars not representing at this Div 2 nets. Instead, I think many of those players choosing to play at Div 1 instead, but definitely showed up for a strong final. Exiles, meanwhile, from Christchurch, channeling, they've got similar experience. Some of the players on this team have played, you know, with that same team that was in the finals last year. But, you know, different strategy, similar issues that they need to address to clean it up, to bring it to a close today, though.
And so as that timeout resolves,
quite a few turnovers happening at this stage. Yeah, so teams looking to clean that up. Zone defense coming out in both areas. It looks like Exiles are opting for a match right now, and I think that's a smart move, just to mix it up and see what they can do, especially one-on-one. Strategic matchups with their offense, you know, could be a really effective way to go.
Hosokawa working with Allen, far sideline. Burris available as a reset. Not looked for, goes up and over. Finds Haney. Can't recenter, can't get around Lemon. Decides to force through, far sideline. Fraser putting pressure on. Hosokawa can't connect. An opportunity for Exiles. The high release, little half pivot backhand goes from Tranta to Lemon and back. Pushing high side now.
Base in the middle of the field, that there you go. Johnston comes to fill in. But this huge gap is everyone's looking for the deep option. Lemon sure is. But
Morris with the denial.
Yeah, finds the ground instead.
Starts to push towards the high side. Haney looking off Burris, decides instead, connects. Big shot goes up, but it's low. Allen's there.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that's beautiful.
Putting it high. Who's there underneath? Hosokawa. Beautiful read. Nice and unmarked.
The vision on both of those throws. The execution. The power in that huck. That, you know, it's coming out, you know, the more touch and power on the throw, the less likely the wind is going to mess with it. And we see that firing downfield, such great positioning, just running onto it. And then I love this one too. Let's see it one more time. As he throws an inside out. And it just easily sails with height. You know, downwind throws, and that's going downwind, are likely to drop, but he puts the height on it. So, yeah, just to allow his teammate to run onto it, I love that.
A great find, recognizing that far side channel wide open. One player cutting in, no players defending the lane. A good find by Allen to hit Hosokawa for the score as Euphoria go double digits.
What a final. And I feel like the stands are fully filled out at this stage. The entire team Euphoria on the field, listening to what the plan is. As we say, there's an O-line, there's a D-line, and there's a sideline. And Euphoria filling out both sidelines, really offering that energy, advice, feedback, input to their team, knowing that it's not just those 7 players on the field, but it's an entire team that wins a tournament together. Exiles, in the meantime, coming out on offense.
48 minutes, nearly 49 minutes in. Burris with the disc for the pull for Euphoria. We see the signal of readiness. McAfee, one of those Exile stalwarts. McDonald touches after it hits the ground, so it's safe. Goes to Matheson. Ray with a big fake. They've changed up the structure of that zone. It's Fishman, Diekma, Barnes initiating. McDonald gets it. Far sideline, back through with Tranter. Threads through the middle of the zone. It's out of position. Ray with a chance. Stifled. Tranter.
Nice movement from Exiles right now. They've been struggling a little bit with some of these small throws and catches. Oh, and a nice cut.
Ray on the doorstep, goes back to Matheson, pushing wide, finds McAfee. This is an opportunity for Exiles here. They're close. They've been holding. But goes back to Matheson. The zone, a little out of position. The disc can move faster than a player, and so Ray in a great opportunity. Goes back, finds Matheson, signals for McAfee. Something to happen in the downfield. It doesn't come. We go McDonald. Back to Matheson. Ray. Zone defense, slowly closing the gap. Tries to find Tranter through, but Fishman blocks off the channel. Matheson back to Ray again, looking to continue. There's an entire other side of the field that Euphoria just scored on. Exiles haven't seen it yet. There it is, McAfee. Puller closing down. Diekma applying pressure. McAfee looking back center field, goes to Ray instead. Matheson on the high side, looked off in favor of McAfee. Comes back to Matheson again. An opportunity. Hargraves parked up on the high side corner, trying to keep the deep defenders busy. It's not doing a great job of opening things up. Ray goes, finds McDonald. Back through. Little jump in. One more step. Laser show through to Lemon. What a put there. That is the ultimate that we have been needing to see from Exiles. It's the ultimate they've been displaying all day. Controlled. Calm in the wind. What a sequence for the boys in red to bring it back within 5.
That was a great point. And nice to hear energy also. We've seen Euphoria running on the field when they score the points. We're hearing Euphoria on the sideline lifting up their teammates. You know, after a really long zone offense, it's tiring not only on the people playing offense, you know, maintaining that composure, that mental composure that Exiles just showed us. They've been trying to do that, but again, those little issues that have been plaguing them, it seems the small throws and catches, which are, yeah, easier to do, just cold drops there, and they just cleaned it right up. And that's what we want to be seeing. But it's also really tiring for the defense. And swinging the disc a lot on offense provides a way to move them, keep the defense running. And it's not just physical, chasing down, you know, maintaining the cup, but also mental, just being turned, you know, tuned on in line with the rest of your teammates. It's exhausting. So again, that uplifting note from the sideline, the Euphoria, you know, supporting each other even when they have lost a point on the board. Nice to hear that.
Tranter putting up a big roller pull, stopped in its tracks by Diekma, picked up by Cook. Goes to find Fiola near sideline. We are seeing another zone from Exiles, but they chip through for Fishman. Finds Kemp. Sutherland. Lemon in the front, shutting it down. Not a lot of movement. Fiola under pressure. Lemon closes, goes back, loses yards, pushing. Far sideline, big touch by Tranter is the block.
That
Great
man is
work, good read.
Too fast, too furious. He's living his life a quarter mile at a time, one block at a time, generating that much-needed turnover for Exiles.
And it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. And Vin Diesel is winning. Lemon with the disc, pushing to McAfee, right on the doorstep. Sutherland on a great upline. Fiola with the slide block.
My friends. Oh, I hope he's okay.
An
that was
injury call there.
Needed. It looks like a cramp. I'm hoping it's a cramp.
Looks like the knee's still bending in the right direction, which is always a bonus.
I think it's a cramp.
It's so good to watch Tranter's block through there. Really is a thing of beauty, that recognition. Hey, I can see where the disc is going. I'm in a great spot to make a play. But it's this next one here, Fiola, inside. Not sure how he managed to block that.
No confirmation yet, but just given the lack of drama on the field, I'm assuming it's a cramp, and so we're going to tell that strikes. It's the one I like to hear. So, friends, fun of Frisbee players, we talk about the importance of hydration, we talk about the importance of sunscreen, but not to disregard the importance of electrolytes. And whether that's through hydration, bananas, pickle juice, pick your poison, it's important to prevent cramping as well. So you can make those big plays on the field and stay out there.
I'm a fan of a cheeky pickle-teeny myself, although Sunday afternoon and these athletes probably need to stay calm and cool and collected. Euphoria to pick up. It's Cook with the disc marked by Sutherland. Lemon trying to shut down the reset. The scuba touches over early. Tranter with another block.
He should play a sport where he's a goalie, is what I'm thinking.
I mean, Ultimate needs blockers too. McAfee goes to Sutherland. Around over Kemp. Touchdown by Lemon for another score.
That seemed too easy. That seemed too easy with the challenges they faced, the pressure Euphoria has had, just some of the struggles they've been working through. That point just flowed so nicely. Whatever they did there, whether it was, pickle juice or just a quick conversation, whatever they did to make that change is something they'll need to definitely carry through the next few points. A beautiful point there for Exiles, and something, again, they'll need to continue and maintain if they want to close out this game to 15. To take home that gold medal.
It really is beautiful. When Exiles have their head of steam, when they've got everything dialed in and connected, they're unstoppable. There was a nice big run early on for Euphoria, but Exiles are starting to close it back. They're starting to play like the Exiles that we've seen throughout the course of this tournament. It's fantastic to see. It's what you're hoping for in a final. You want it to be a tightly contested game.
No doubt.
Sean Lemon having scored half of the goals for the Exiles already.
Yeah. Time for Euphoria to take notes. I think they definitely are. We've seen some big matchups against him, but shutting down Lemon will be a key to shutting down points for Exiles. Just ways for Euphoria to clean it up a bit further and further that scoreboard if they want to do that.
The pull comes in a little low, touching down around the halfway mark, so not a long field for Euphoria to work with. Haney, Cook, Allen to initiate against the zone. We have Lemon, Sturman starting things off. Fraser there as the far side wing in the Arrowhead itself.
And this wind really, really picking up now, which is beneficial on defense for sure. The timing of it.
Some good little 1-2s and a hot bullet straight through to Truong, but it fades early. Everyone taking a roll, not just Truong in the end zone, but some of his sideline compatriots.
That was such an incredible release. I love the inside out on that, the power he put behind it.
And you can see it. Truong had a great read. You can just see how it starts to drop. The speed of that drop as well, enough to generate the turn. That's what Exiles need. Hodgman slips through, finds Lemon. Sturman working in the deep space, putting a shot up. Puller over Tranter, no contact, it's clean. Cook's got it, puts the banger up straight into the hands of Hodgman.
Oh my
Swing
gosh.
in, swing in, swing. Hodgman putting it up, it's a little low. Lemon's underneath. Lemon's got it.
Who gets the stat there, Blair?
By the looks of things, Lemon with the assist, Sturman with the score. Great work by Exiles to pull it back within 3.
I suppose Hodgman just doesn't get the assist then. That's amazing.
He gets the credit for the block. Big shot from Hodgman going up, up, up. Lemon first. Sturman as well.
I'm mostly just excited that they didn't block each other because we did see that issue, unfortunately, with Euphoria as well. Before, both offenders going for it, not communicating who had it. But in this situation, they both kept their hands on it, so I guess doubly safe in that situation. And we're accompanied by the sparkling Rachel Siohani Royal in the booth taking stats for us. So happy to not have that issue of who to give that stat to. And she's figuring out the details, keeping that, tracking that for the team. I've had the privilege of commentating other games earlier over the course of this weekend. If you'd like to check them out, head over to the ULTI.TV's YouTube page where we've been streaming the entire tournament, the best games. Lovely to have this crew here over in New Zealand and supporting events like this.
Okay, so it's been a couple of back-to-back breaks for Exiles. They're about to come down on defense to see if they can do it again. Euphoria's offense, Ridgway, Kemp, Fishman, Burris, Puller, Allen, Wilson. Facing off against a big monster pull from Hodgman with the high outside edge. It's touching down. A great position, a little bit of a scramble. Burris to pick it up. Recenters to Allen. To Wilson, pushing towards the far sideline. Fraser closing the trap, goes to find Ridgway, a travel called.
It did look like he dragged his foot a little bit when he released that. Yeah. You know, which can give you just a little bit of an extra advantage when you're trying to get around a defender.
Especially considering that for the most part, a defender is going to set up around about where your pivot foot is. That's where they understand you to be moving around, and so to drag your foot pulls you out of a position that they're comfortable or, I guess, used to or anticipating marking you. Fishman puts it up. Burris comfortably.
Defense, really great defense. You know, not an issue for Zev Fishman to put that throw up, but really intelligent defense. Defensive marking and positioning from Exiles there, making the throw just a bit more difficult.
Kemp cutting all the way back through into the handler space. Allen finds Fishman, finds Burris, marked by McAfee, a low shot outside of Kemp's range. McDonald, marked by Ridgway. Looks like we're going to be having a match defense. Sturman has it.
Oh, yes. How
Fishman,
rude not to.
Lemon puts it up. This float. It's fading, but it's not fading enough.
Rude not to. Wow, how many breaks in a row? Oh.
Lemon under position. Perfectly read. As the float fades, gets into position, goes up, two hands, pulls that one down. The game back within two. Three back-to-back breaks.
3 back-to-back breaks, 4 points in a row for Exiles. You know, this is what we saw from Euphoria pulling ahead in the first half. And as I was saying, you know, Euphoria's getting those points. Exiles needs to figure it out. They need to bring it back. They need to do what they need to do. They need to do it quickly because, you know, they're just giving them that cushion which now they're clawing back at. But will there be enough time before the end of the game if Exiles, you know, does want to take it? Will there be enough time, enough space for them to do it? Because points are running out.
I do love to see Sturman putting the assist up for a Lemon. A little bit of a mirror to their previous position where Exiles put it on the board. Lemon now responsible for half of the points, half of the goals themselves for Exiles. Doing a phenomenal job there.
Whoa.
2 assists as well. So 6 of Exile's 8 points have involved Sean Lemon. It's a testament to just how influential he is on the field, how much of a threat he is. And at the moment, Euphoria haven't really found a concrete answer for him. McDonald putting the big shot up.
Sometimes there is no answer. Sometimes there is no limit, there is no answer, and there's just theories. And you're just trying different theories and seeing, you know, which is the most relevant.
Cook and Barnes, wide reset. Injury called.
So when an injury is called like this, second half of the game, of the final, it's been a long weekend, and we start to see cramps happening. But also it gives the defense an opportunity to sub if they would like one as well. In this situation, not. But yeah, game is live. Both teams can sub if they need to.
Cook working with Barnes. Fraser shutting down that continuation option. Not going to happen. Recenters to Allen. Marked by Lemon. Trong cutting in, getting involved. Barnes again, nice 1-2, an open Cook far sideline, decides to holster the huck. Comes back to Barnes. Diekma available, but Ray shuts that one down. Can't push high side, finds Trong center field, marked by Fraser. Cook on the low side again. McAfee poaching off, waiting for an opportunity to make his move. Losing yards, but maintaining possession in the hands of Allen with a big shot up. Looking for Puller over Johnston. Got him.
That is so well placed.
And it
Johnston
looks like
in position in the deep space. You know, he's doing such a good job covering him, but it's hard to cover every single angle, you know, of where a throw could go. And so you know, props to the execution of that throw. We'll see it one more time as he gets it, but props to the execution there as he puts it decisively to a certain side of the field. And then the receiver, you know, getting body behind it, running onto the disc. It's hard to make a play against that. And that is what Euphoria needed to stop the breaks, to stop that comeback train. They've got one more on the board, inching closer to 15 points.
Great read on that disc, huge put by Allen. It's going to be marked as a score for Euphoria. 2 goals and an assist for Keegan Puller for Euphoria in the gold jacket. Pew, pew. Shooter McGavin, Happy Gilmore.
He is hosting the show right now, hosting the show there as he makes that point happen. Now hosting from the sidelines, supporting his team as the disc goes up. They'll need to generate a turnover if they want to score this point because Exiles are on offense. We have Ray picking up the disc, swinging to Matheson. Johnston. Previously downfield, and at this stage, he's in the handling position. It looks like with the setup downfield that they set up in a pull play situation. Turner potentially looking, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Lemon in the deep space. Can he tow it in?
Yes, he can. Unsurprising. You could see that unfolding from a couple of passes ahead of time. Tranter getting the disc on the high side, near sideline, close towards the end zone. You could see Lemon developing his cut early. And pushing deep as well. Pantanople's eyes on the disc, not recognizing the threat. Lemon with a beautiful little 1 foot back foot drag, towing that in. Back within 2 for Exiles.
Yeah, this is one for the fans. You know, Exiles really clawing it back, showing that they are every part still in this game. You know, they're going to need to put a few more points on the board if they want to walk away with that gold medal. But that's, you know, that's how it's done. A very economical point, too, scored quite quickly. And again, I think it was a pull play that they had set up, notably with the split stack. And while there was a zone that came down, sometimes, you know, if the defense is different than you'd initially expected, you run it anyway. And it can still work. Case in point there.
One of the biggest things I think about the way that pull plays tend to work is that for the most part they're devised around like not being defended, and so a lot of the time you can create a really solid offensive structure that's going to work regardless of what defense your opposition try. I think as well with regards to zones, they're more reactive. They're looking to see what is happening. But if everyone in the downfield, particularly on your offensive side, knows what they want to do, that reaction element doesn't play into it to the same extent if everything is kind of planned ahead. Barnes, Cook. Back to Barnes, far sideline. Fraser, Tranter pressuring the disc. McAfee trying to shut down the line on that far sideline. Lemon closing in, doesn't want them to work towards the high sideline. Lets the forehand go up. It's Allen. Laser show right through the middle. Finds Vishman now. Out of a hat. Good touch by McAfee's going to be enough.
Oh, that's sad. It's just sad to see those good decisions, you know, those good decisions getting punished when they don't happen.
I mean, that's the thing. We're looking at the finals of a tournament. It's a little windy. Anything less than perfection is going to be punished.
Oh, great cover on the mark. Lemon giving a very enticing under option, which is difficult to put when your mark is taking that away.
McAfee forced to reset to Fraser. Cook lets it through. McAfee can't get both hands to it. Cook with an opportunity, wanting to close. Centers to Allen. Supported by Diekma. Marked by Lemon. High release flick. The front edge is too high. Fraser's underneath it. Barnes has the height. And Barnes is going to pull it down. An unnecessary spike. I'm glad to see them hug it out afterwards. And doubly glad to see Tom Fraser's MMA training pay off as he shoots for a single leg takedown. Size isn't everything, boyo. That's what he seems to say as Euphoria are 3 points away from a 15-point win.
A total smackdown. Oh, my God. You know, a great point, though. Great catch. I think Euphoria really capitalizing on the point that turnover happened so close to their end zone. Yeah, and great read, great positioning, and bringing that disc down for the point.
We might even get to see it again. There it is.
Closing out, so now 3 more points that Euphoria has to put on the board to bring this game to an end. It's getting windier, it's getting colder as the southerly is starting to turn and come through Christchurch. It's been quite gusty And I think that's actually going to be something we're going to see in throws. Sometimes they come out and it's a little bit dead, but the wind might pick up and just do something completely different with that. And that can work oftentimes against your favor, but oftentimes in your favor as well. So, it's happening equally across both teams.
Even though we've seen the Euphoria throw down a zone defense for most of their points so far, which you'd expect to do when there's a lot of wind, Exiles have demonstrated an ability to work through it, and a lot of their throws have remained uninterrupted by the wind. Hodgman in particular has had some phenomenal shots. We're going to see another one going up.
Amazing.
Over the hand of Sturman.
I love that decision, though.
Absolutely, and look where it ended up. From a territory perspective, that's the perfect shot. You've got Haney picking up on the low side, far sideline, right in front of their end zone. If Exiles can make a move, this is where it's going to happen. Wilson takes the reset, marked by Hodgman. Way with a great undercut, marked by Ray, gets the separation, clearing out. It's not going to happen. Inside shot, finds Haney. Ridgeway pushing deep, Sturman closing the jaws. Helmick available as a reset, but Lemon's in position. He's going to shut it down. Has to go back to Haney. Sturman on defense. Haney not having a lot of options. We see a slash cut and a pick.
I think there was a pick.
Considering that more than half of the players on the field is throwing up the signal.
It's like there was a pick on the field?
Almost like there was a pick on the field.
Which means that play
now,
stops.
I could be wrong.
No,
But I think there might have been a pick.
I think there was one. Blair Monroe. And so that means play stops. Players get into position to where they were and get also into a position where they're not going to initiate contact, especially defensively. If you're trying to follow your offender and you have to contact someone else in order to play defense on them within 3 meters. Yep, that's a pick. It's a non-contact sport, of course. So it's just stoppage, figuring things out. Euphoria continuing their offensive movement.
Great undercut by Ridgeway. Finds Way far sideline, marked by Ray. Haney drops back, takes the reset. Far sideline, Sturman applying pressure. Wilson toes it in, marked by Hodgman. Big fake, gets a bite, goes around, finds Haney. Helmick faked off again. Lemon, too close, too much of a threat in the upfield space, pushing through.
Ooh,
Way on a great undercut. Ray with a slip and an injury. An injury play is going to be stopped. Korpa with the disc, center field.
And the fans at this stage chiming in regarding what happened. There's support from the sideline. Ray will be taking a sub. Euphoria still has the disc. They're still hammering towards this end zone. Exiles have had some incredible tenacity on defense, really pressuring, case in point with Ray's bid there, on every single throw that goes up. They're going to need to keep that going if they're going to generate that turnover, potentially with a gust of wind in their favor. And also, case in point with the conversation earlier, Euphoria choosing also to take a sub. I think a really intelligent move at this end of the game. You know, you're allowed to put some fresh legs on halfway through a point, and if you can take that opportunity, why not?
So Burris to take the field in place of Korpa with the disc in the midfield. Looks like the disc is going to be sent back, which makes sense. The injury was called, which probably impacted Ray's ability to apply pressure to the throw by Wilson, or by Way, I should say. And as a result, maybe that throw wouldn't have gone through. So McAfee back on field. Haney puts up a big shot, looking for Burris. It's fading.
Johnston in position.
Little tap, little touch. Goes through to Atay, number 96 for Euphoria to take that one down.
Oh, and I hope there's not another injury on the field. Johnston's still on the ground.
Looks like there is going to be an injury. Johnston, who has been doing so much work for Exiles.
We see that one more time. The disc goes up, and we can see about contact here. Johnston getting into position. Oh, yeah, it looks like... yeah, maybe stumbled on his ankle. Sometimes, you know, and it may just be superficial, but having a cleat scrape over your calf like that can be really painful in the moment, especially on a sore Achilles towards the end of 2 days.
Ooh, yeah, that one looked like he came down pretty hefty.
Yeah. You know, great reading, though, and just a testament to the importance of backing your teammates up, especially in windy conditions, you know, to catch those points, knowing that throws can go rogue in the wind. So being in the position where you might need to be to either provide a continuation if it's not quite in the end zone, or provide backup if the disc sails over the intended receiver. So now Euphoria coming out on defense, looking to continue. They've had 2 points in a row. That was the first break in a while. Yeah, inching closer towards that score line. Haney, who just assisted that point with disc in hand, hand up indicating that he's ready. Euphoria has done such a great job. Their zone has been forcing a lot of errors. Exiles have showed that when they are feeling it, you know, when they're connecting, you know, the zone isn't really slowing them down at all. Here we can also see Kieran Allen on the line, ready, no doubt, to generate a turnover. I think that Exiles are touching the disc there so they can bring it up to the front of the end zone.
Very, very wary of repeating the mistakes of the past. And so McAfee's going to bring that disc up to the front of the end zone. Yeah, Allen, who has put away 5 of the assists for Euphoria's 13 points so far. So having him on the field, especially on the ability to generate a turnover, puts them in a really, really good shot. He's a great sniper on the field to put something away. Wilson, Ridgway, Hosokawa again with the arrowhead. McAfee cannot hit Gurdon on the up line, decides to go for it anyway. Morris shutting down those continuation options. McAfee trying to make himself available, sneaking around behind the arrowhead. Goes back to Hall, finds Fraser. Hall again, the arrowhead moving, trying to keep control of the situation. Fraser, Hall, threads through, finds Matheson, can't get the big rip. Wilson back in control on defense. Matheson losing yards, finds Hall, goes to center field, finds Fraser. McAfee there on the low side. Hosokawa trying to shut down the continuation. A laser show straight through. A little bit of air bounce to find Hall to Fraser. Trying to start a give and go. Gets it. Near sideline. Bit of momentum. Finds Gurdon. Goes back again. Taking them 1, 2 steps at a time. Layout from Fraser.
Hugging the disc as if it's a rugby ball almost. And the lefty fake, going for the swing around. McAfee now downfield, a huge layout D, but it's unsuccessful.
There's going to be the touch from Wilson. It's going to shut it down. Allen goes back to an unmarked Haney. Has Morris near sideline. Fakes off Wilson as Lewis closes the gap. High blade up and over the top. Allen somehow with a laser show looking for a gratuitous layout, a little bit too late, out of position. It's going to give the disc back to the Exiles. They have a great opportunity here, though. Long field.
Showing that he's willing to lay his body out. I think potentially even showing the thrower that he's going to need to be respected a little bit more as a receiver. That he's willing to throw it all out on the line to reel it in. But, you know, sometimes it's not humanly possible. So we have, you know, a really tough area where the disc is right now. The coffin corner, far edge.
Oh, McAfee not able to seal the deal. This is what Euphoria need. Wilson to pick up and initiate. Haney calling for front of stack.
Nice.
He's gone and done it.
Clean.
Nice quick cut from the front of the stack.
A gratuitous layout. Oh, just kidding. He's writing in his little diary there about the fun time he had, the euphoric time he had with his teammates playing in the final. 1 point away from sealing victory for the team. One more time.
14-9 at the moment. About 78 or so minutes through the game.
Euphoria, again, looking to close it out now. Exiles showed, you know, halfway through this half, they brought it back, and it was tough to stop that momentum. But either they start now or never, you know. Now's the time that they're going to need to have a flawless game. You know, no turnovers. The sooner they can score those points, the better. A great time right now potentially to run through one of those pull plays, if that's still an opportunity for them.
Just something to shake things up, to bring them back with a little bit of momentum, to get them in the game, to demonstrate to Euphoria that they should be respected, and that their ability should be taken seriously.
The ice cream truck You know, a hopeful treat for potentially not just the players on the field, but potentially also the people in the commentary booth after the game is making its departure from the field.
What's cooler than being cool? Ice cream. It's McDonald to pick up and initiate. The same arrowhead that we've seen. Helmig, Burris, Way. Can't stop it. Going over the top to Hodgman. Working back with Tranter. McDonald there as support. Matheson there for the continuation. Unmarked. Used.
Matheson looking for options, swinging back to McDonald. And right now, Exiles not fussed to put it up on that high sideline. McDonald's going over the top. These scoobers really punishing that cup. And
Tranter
especially
now.
Easy to put up if they're on the high side of the field. You know, it's easy to throw a safe over the top throw across the players on the field. McDonald with the disc.
McDonald, there's another scuba. Finds Hodgman again, unmarked. The zone takes a second to get into position. Finds Lemon. Hodgman in motion. High shot instead, looking for McDonald. It comes in a little low. He's not able to pull that one down.
Ooh, no foul, that's good.
Always love to see that. Exiles cannot really afford to give Euphoria the game here. Morris puts it, finds Burris. Corpa available as an option, clearing out. The lane is no longer an option. Over the top. Pulled in. Helmig to Morris. Goes through, finds Burris. Low, finds Way.
Exiles.
Only need another couple passes. Burris hoping to put the nail in the coffin for the Exiles for this championship event. Haney to finish. And what an emotional finish that will be. Anthony Haney, one of the co-founders of Euphoria, clearly in tears. This is a big emotional moment for him. It's going to be his last hit out with Euphoria before he returns home to Tennessee in the States. Our very own Hammer Haney, Billy Ray Skyrus, going home, leaving home. His Euphoria teammates surrounding him as they walk away with the win. What a fantastic opportunity, what a fantastic moment. A great performance by the Exiles, but in the end, it's not going to be enough. What a day. A red day. A sword day. My name is Blair Monroe. One of the greatest privileges of my entire Ultimate career has not been sitting here in the commentary booth with you folks, providing context, being your eyes and ears on the ground to talk you through the greatest sport in the world. It has been my contribution to the Ultimate community through my friendship with Anthony Haney. I can tell you right now, everyone from Euphoria is going to be sad to see him go, but he's always going to have a home here. Thank you, sir. Good night, sweet prince.
Well,
May
I thought
flights of
Exiles
angels
played great.
sing you to your rest. But yes, Exiles were absolutely phenomenal. Just a really, really beautiful performance from both teams. But that is going to conclude our tournament for us, the 2025 New Zealand Ultimate Championships Division 2. My name is Blair Monroe.
I'm Kelsey Bielik. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching.
ULTI.TV.
Stop it. You can only hope to contain it. Sorry, I'm very sharp.
ULTI.TV.
He got me. At the end, he got me. I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, I've been like 4 days.